Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me for this really special video. Hi to Russ and hello to Ryan. Early, you're very early, and hello to Alex. Thanks very much for joining me for this live stream. I'm super excited. I'll just let you know very quickly that I'm actually recording this with the new live streaming feature in the YouTube app. So hopefully the quality will be good for you. Hopefully the audio will be nice and clear as well. And hopefully you're excited about what is behind this cover here behind me as well. I'm really very excited. I've been talking about quite a few things on the channel recently regarding my editing workflow and primarily what I've been using to edit my videos. Now, if you've watched Geekanoids for a long time, you'll know that I edit all of my videos on the Mac using Mac OS as it's known nowadays, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I love my Apple kit. I've got over here the latest late 2016 MacBook Pro. This is the 15-inch version, and this has got the touch bar on it. And this is a really fast machine when it comes to editing. In fact, I mentioned this in one of my videos about a week or so ago. This will actually process a video far quicker than my trash can Mac Pro. Now that's down to something to do with the way the software works with the graphics chip in this, I think. Somebody did tell me the exact reference to it, but this produces video a lot quicker, so it's brilliant for my workflow. However, this has got problems. First of all, the touch bar, I don't use it. I'd have much rather not had the touch bar and had an SD card slot, and I'd much rather it didn't slow down and get laggy from time to time. And I think that's down to Apple really not optimizing the software as much as they could nowadays, and really not delivering on the performance front as much as they did many years ago. Now, when I shared with you my video about this on the channel a while back, a lot of you mentioned and agreed with me that it's because Apple, and rightly so, every business would do this, but they're more consumer focused nowadays, and they do this because it makes them more money. And what business wouldn't do that? If you're running a business and you see that a particular product line is making you more money than, say, your professional product line, then you're going to make that change. You're going to decide to run with whatever is performing well for you. But they do that at the risk of losing the pro market. People like me who edit videos every single day, I rely on good editing hardware and good editing software. Now, the software has been the biggest factor for me for a long time. It's all about the user experience. Yes, the Apple hardware is fantastic. I love my Mac Pro. I love the MacBook Pro that I just showed you. I love my iPhone that I'm recording this on as well. But it's all about the software experience. And I use Final Cut Pro day in, day out. I'm very used to it. I've used it for years, and it's very jarring to change to something else. Many years ago, I used Adobe Premiere Pro. Great application. Back in the day, it did have some issues. I know a lot of those have been ironed out now, and it is a lot better than it used to be. But using a particular piece of software and a whole sort of ecosystem for a long time makes it scary to make that change. Put it that way. And for a long time, I'd also reviewed Windows-based computers, and I never got on with them. Even so much as when I did the Surface Pro videos on the Geekanoids channel, I thoroughly enjoyed the hardware. The hardware was fantastic, but the operating system frustrated me a great deal. I found the update procedure, the virus checking, keeping everything sort of stable as an operating system very frustrating. I'm being completely honest with you here. I just used to rip my hair out. That's why I'm like this now, because of Windows. I blame this baldness on Windows. But with the latest releases from Apple, and the lack of concentration they're giving to something like the Mac Pro, which hasn't been updated for 3.5 years now almost, I thought to myself, enough is enough. I have to start exploring and looking outside of that box. And I've been doing a lot of research lately, both with regards to the laptop that I showed you here. I mean, this is fantastic for what I use it for, but is this going to do me really well for this whole year, or am I going to become frustrated with it? Should I be looking at some of the fantastic Windows laptops that are out there nowadays? I suppose only time will tell with regards to this as to whether I give up my MacBook Pro. But the premise of this video is about a big reveal, and yes, I am delaying in showing you what is behind this screen behind me here. In fact, I'm going to take a little peek just behind. Wow, it's looking really good. I'm really liking what I'm seeing behind this screen, and I will reveal it very soon. I am teasing you. Let me take a look at some of the comments just before I actually do that reveal. Paul asks, Paul Bentley, hi Paul, would any of these problems with Apple, like the latest MacBook etc., be around if Steve Jobs was still around? Well, possibly, because don't forget Steve Jobs was a businessman as well, and if he'd have seen the success of all of these consumer oriented products, then he probably would have taken the same vision. So probably, maybe not as much, maybe we wouldn't wait as long between product cycles, but I do think it would still exist. Let's take a few more look at the questions. Elliot Austin, does anything frustrate you about Apple products? Basically what I was talking about a moment ago, the whole product cycle thing, I think is the main frustration, and the fact that Apple are doing a fantastic job with the iPhone, the iPad, the Apple Pencil, a great success. So many artists using the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil now. So I can see why that focus has shifted, but it does frustrate me because I am a content creator more than a consumer. So although I would use my iPad to watch videos, I would never have gone so far as to use it to create videos. But then saying that, here I am now creating a video or a live broadcast with my iPhone. Elio1862 asks, do I rate the iPad Pro? Well, yes, I do. I think it's a fantastic machine, and it can be used for creation. But I'm talking specifically here about the desktops, the laptops, and Mac OS. So anyway, thank you for all of your comments. I'm not going to delay any further. I'm going to reveal what's behind this screen here. And in fact, if you'd been very eagle-eyed, you'd have seen a little clue. Just up here, there is a little LED showing through. Now, before I do remove this screen and do the big reveal, I will just mention to you that I will take some more questions after I've gone through what's behind this screen. And if you stay tuned right towards the end of this broadcast, I will be doing a bonus live review as well. So do stay tuned for that. So anyway, let's take a look what's behind this screen. We need a drum roll. So all do a drum roll for me. I'm going to reveal what's behind here. And there we go. This is the new editing suite for the Geekanoids videos. And this consists of a 4K 32-inch screen. We've also got some hard drive storage just down here as well. The speakers aren't placed where they're going to end up. I've been doing some extra recording about the computer on the end here over the past few days. So this is eventually going to go underneath the desk. But this is an Alienware Aurora 2017 version, the R5, and it's actually really highly specified. It has got a Core i7 Kaby Lake processor, 7700K inside. It's got dual GTX 1080 graphics cards inside as well. It's got 32 gigabytes of RAM. Correction there. Actually, it was originally going to have 32 gigabytes of RAM, but what it ended up having is 64 gigabytes of RAM. So this has actually got 64 gigabytes of RAM in there. And with regards to storage, for the operating system, it's got 512 gigabyte PCI Express M2 storage on here. And then for the additional storage, I did some upgrades myself. So these are the upgrades I did myself after this arrived. So for my video files, I installed one of these. This is a Samsung 850 Evo SSD. This is 2 terabytes of storage, and this is going to be for the video files. And then for my sort of exported video files, the ones that are going to be ready to actually upload, this is a 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue SSD. So this plus this gives me 3 terabytes, and then 512 gigabytes of storage on the computer itself. I'll give you a closer look in a short while. And then for backing up, so this is just purely a little backup drive, and you'll have to excuse the exposure on this camera, but this is a Western Digital My Passport 4 terabyte drive, just for the backups. So anyway, let's turn this on and wake up the machine. And let's just pop my password in. Oh, it wasn't asking for my password, so there you go. This is what it looks like turned on. Very, very nice screen. Really pleased with it. I've got Premiere Pro already running on here, so I'm going to give you a closer look at that in a short while. In fact, let's actually switch views on the camera. So let's just turn the camera around and just have a look at this a little bit closer. So this is the keyboard I'm currently using. You've seen this in a video previously. This was the little teaser product that I showed you previously. This is a Microsoft Surface keyboard. This is absolutely fantastic, absolutely awesome. And then here, this is the Microsoft Surface mouse. I will be swapping that out probably for a trackpad. And then, as I mentioned previously, this is a 32-inch 4K Samsung monitor. We've got some storage at the side here. This is a LaCie 2 big hard drive, a couple of speakers, and yes, for the eagle-eyed, that is a Mac Mini. That is in fact running the monitor up here, so it does nothing more than act as a media server. And then this is the Alienware. This is absolutely fantastic. It is so good. It is such a really powerful machine. Now, I've currently got on here a 4K video file, and what I'm going to do is just go up to the top here and export media, and we're going to actually export in full 4K, and this is a 4K piece of footage here, 2 minutes in duration, and let's just export that and see how long it takes. Now, I did do this earlier just to test it. I will let that run just whilst I talk to you a little bit more about the Alienware Aurora R5, which is what you came here to see after all. So this is a compact but very dense desktop. When you open this side panel up, which I can't do while it's switched on, it is packed solid in there. It is very heavy. And for those of you who just joined the stream, I'll just run through the specifications again. So this has got a Core i7 Kaby Lake processor, 7700K. It's also got 64 gigabytes of RAM, dual GTX 1080 graphics cards, 512 gigabytes of storage for Windows 10 Pro, and then it's got an additional 2 terabyte SSD, Samsung Evo 850 for the video files, and then it's also got a 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue hard drive for my exports. So that's what I'm writing to at the moment. So whenever all of my work files are going to be on the 2 terabyte drive, and all of the project files, and then when I write the complete video, so the finished video ready to upload, that will go to the 1 terabyte drive. Let's take a little bit of a closer look here, and then I'll switch back across to the screen as that export finishes. But here we've got some front I/O ports. So we've got microphone input, headphone output. We've also got 2 USB 2s on there, two super speed USB 3s, a little carry handle just at the top here. Yes, it can run Google Chrome, very apt question, Smokey. Round the back, which I can't show you unfortunately, there is also additional USB 3s, of course, 3 DisplayPort 1.2 outputs, also HDMI output, and USB 3.1 and USB-C, I think, on the back as well. It's got one USB-C but not Thunderbolt. So a very, very capable machine. Now, I'm just really very pleased with the overall performance. This 2-minute video, if I was exporting this over here on my Mac, would take normally about 12 minutes to export. And currently, this has been running for about 2.5 minutes. So it should complete in around about 3 minutes, which is how long it took last time, which is a very good performance. So we've got 2 minutes of full UHD 4K footage exporting in 3 minutes. So a really good performance, and it runs very quietly indeed, and that's primarily because there's no moving hard drives in here either. These are all solid state drives. So just a really great machine. There's an 850 watt power supply in there as well. I don't know how that rates with regard to energy consumption compared to my Trashcan Mac Pro. And there we go, that video is now finished exporting. Now, as I was saying, the Trashcan Mac Pro, I'm not sure what the wattage of that power supply is, but this needed quite a meaty power supply to run those dual GTX 1080 graphics cards. So anyway, let's switch back round to the other camera. And now I will continue speaking with you about this fantastic machine. Let me just put the tripod down again. So, what do you think? This is, where am I going to sit? I want you to be able to see the Alienware. So this is the new editing suite for the Geekanoids videos. Now, I did see a few of you commenting on my little teaser videos earlier. You know who you are, Darren. That you couldn't see me switching across completely to Windows 10 and switching completely 100% away from the Mac. And you are indeed right, I'm not doing the complete switch yet. What I'm doing is I'm switching over my main editing workflow to here. I'm going to keep my Mac Pro until it stops working, or until I might even sell it. Probably in a couple of months I probably will sell that Trashcan Mac Pro. I'm going to keep my MacBook Pro for now, but I'm also looking at options for portable Windows editing solutions. This has been working very well for me so far. In fact, I think 3 or 4 of the videos you've already watched on the Geekanoids channel have been edited on here. So I'm getting used to it. It's a big transition for me, moving away, especially from Final Cut Pro. It's all about the software, of course, because once you're in that application, you don't touch the operating system so much. Windows 10 has been a bit jarring for me, getting used to where everything is, but it is a lot more stable now. I used to really not like it, but I can see it has improved a lot. Microsoft have been making great progress with making it a really good operating system, and they're even doing some creators update at the moment as well, which is due out shortly, which will focus things in even more for professional creatives. So I'm really excited about the switch. With regards to the hardware, the quality of the hardware is fantastic. The only issues I experienced, and that was not really Dell's fault, it was more my overlooking things, and that was when this came delivered, it only had the 512 gigabytes PCI Express M2 solid state drive in there, and I knew it had the capacity of taking 3 further drives. And so I got the drives, the Samsung and the Western Digital, expecting just to be able to open this up, put them into the caddies and connect everything up, but the cabling wasn't there. Now, I did ring Dell just to double check. I said, should that cabling have been there? And they said, well, no, if you'd have ordered it with the additional drives already installed, then of course the cables would be there. The only thing that was in there was enough runs of power, so I could actually power the solid state drives. but there wasn't the data cables, so I had to order those off of Amazon. Pack of 3 was about £5, so it wasn't a big expense. It just meant me waiting an extra day before I could get those solid state drives installed. I run some benchmarks on the disk performance, and admittedly the actual performance of the disks is not as fast as in my MacBook Pro. The write and read speeds were round about half of what I would get on the MacBook Pro, but still more than capable of 4K video editing. The M2 PCI Express hard drive was a little bit faster, so probably round about 30 to 35% slower. No, maybe 30, let's say 30% slower than the MacBook Pro, but very, very fast indeed. And these two solid state drives, like I said, they were a little bit slower, but again, still read and write speeds of round about the 500 megabytes per second, so more than capable. And then the other things I've experienced on it so far have been DaVinci Resolve. In one of my previous videos I was talking about video editors. It was in the Q&A session, and again I think it was Darren that asked me if I was going to try any of the free video editors, and indeed I did try DaVinci Resolve on it. Didn't like the workflow. Again, if I spend time with it and really practice, I would get used to it, and I can see it has got a lot of potential. It's a fully featured video editor and it's free, which is absolutely amazing. So if you're in the market for a free video editor, DaVinci Resolve could well be the way to go. It's got every bit as much feature wise as Adobe Premiere Pro, and probably more so than Final Cut Pro. There is just that steep learning curve with it, and because I'm producing videos every day, I can't afford that steep learning curve at the moment. Adobe Premiere Pro is going to give me enough to learn about for the time being than having to learn yet another piece of software as well. So anyway, I'm just going to grab a drink and then I'm going to take some questions. So get your questions coming in, and then I'm going to do this bonus review for you as well. So, before I take the questions, just a big thank you to all of you. I really do appreciate you all tuning in. It makes me smile. I love the comments. So thank you to each and every one of you for tuning into the broadcast today. If you don't subscribe, please do subscribe to the channel, because I really do appreciate that. And also, if you don't follow me on my other social networks, things like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, then definitely do follow me. I'm Geekanoids on all of the platforms. On Instagram, shortly after this broadcast, I'll be actually putting up a quick photo of what I used to record this broadcast with, or to broadcast with. So you'll see the little tiny microphone I've got on top of my iPhone 7 Plus here. So follow me on Instagram as well. So it's instagram.com/Geekanoids, or indeed facebook.com/Geekanoids. Same on Twitter, same everywhere. So anyway, let's take a look at some questions. I'm just going to have a look at some of these. Ryan Darcy, Dave, any inside news on the iPhone 8? None at all, Ryan. And I'm steering away from rumours. They tend to frustrate me a little bit lately. It's my frame of mind. I don't like the rumours at the moment, but I will keep an eye on them, of course, because I will be getting an iPhone 8. Mason Ellis, why are you switching? Well, if you tuned in earlier, I was just explaining that I'm just getting frustrated with the lack of hardware updates and innovation coming from Apple. So I'm going to give Windows a try. I saw somebody else say about why are so many people switching from Mac to Windows, and I have seen this trend. So I think it's primarily because a lot of people are getting the same frustration as me, and I think they're just sort of not liking what Apple was doing lately. Sven Hebink says, Dave, it's proof that Premiere Pro on the Mac is really slow. Yes, I have heard that as well. Let's have a look for some more questions. Impressive setup, Dave. Congratulations, from Charles Mackenzie Hill. Thank you very much, Charles. I really do appreciate it. And Russ B, get rid of the iPhone 2. Watch this space. It's not going to happen soon, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. Hello to AJ Makes Videos and Renee. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. And that's pretty much it. Oh, here we go. Faux Earl. Why didn't you build the PC yourself? My background, for those of you who don't know, many years ago, I was an IBM engineer. I used to install computers all the time. Prior to that, I used to actually run a computer business which involved building computers and also repairing computers as well. And things have moved on. And yes, I could have built a far better system probably, or an equally good system for a little bit less money. Probably not a lot less, but a little bit of saving there. And it's the same reason as why I'm not going to start learning DaVinci Resolve at the same time as Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a time thing. My main focus is on creating content for you guys to watch. And if I had to build a computer from scratch, then it would take away from that, and it would probably lend itself to some further frustration as well. And these are very keenly priced now. Yes, I did pay a little bit of a premium, but I didn't pay anywhere near as much as I would with the Apple premium that so many people talk about. And I wanted something that had a good warranty on it, so I got extra on-site warranty with this as well, and something that I knew I could get out of the box and get up and running very quickly and get into this new video editing workflow. So I thought that was much more important to me than actually building a system from scratch. But great question, and I'm not knocking anyone who does that. I absolutely love it when I used to build systems. I've built a system on the Geekanoids channel as well. I did a computer build series and I thoroughly enjoy it, but just not this time around. Sven asks, in terms of software, do you still prefer Mac OS over Windows? It's too early days. Of course I'm going to say I'm more familiar with Mac OS, but that's because I've used it for so long. I think after maybe 2 to 3 months of continually using Windows 10 and sort of weaning myself off of Mac OS, then I think it will become a lot more manageable. I'll learn where things are. I'll learn some of the little tricks to do with Windows 10 as well, and I don't think I'll miss it as much then. So ask me that question again in a few months. Thanks very much, Russ, for saying it's a nice PC. And I saw another question. Oh, here, it wasn't a question. Rocken Rolf Hamburg. As far as I know, Resolve has no 4K output in the free version. You might be right there. One of the things I immediately noticed with DaVinci Resolve was the actual user interface was very big. It was all scaled up and I couldn't find a way of scaling that down. So it might be that the free version doesn't work very well with 4K displays. I'm pretty sure it has 4K output though. Next question is from Paul Phillips. Why didn't you wait for the new iMac? That's a very good question. Again, many years ago, it makes me sound so old, but when I started off YouTube just over 10 years ago, I used to use an iMac. And I loved the all-in-one design. It was a very powerful machine, and then I upgraded it to a newer iMac. But then I found that I was always scared of when the computer goes wrong, you lose the screen as well, so you lose everything. And I wanted separate components, and I also wanted to be able to buy bigger screens and also test bigger screens as well, and the iMac was restrictive in that. Part of my sort of career path on YouTube and part of my enthusiasm for technology is being able to test all this great kit. Being able to test something like this 4K display is just amazing, and the iMac was just too restrictive. But it is a fantastic machine, and the display built into these 5K iMacs now is wow, amazing. But it just wasn't for me. So maybe in the future, who knows, if Apple start innovating again, maybe I will look at that again in the future. But for now, this is the the sort of journey I'm going on. David, if you've just joined in, David Hepworth, what PC is it? It's an Alienware Aurora R5. Jam 765432. I'm an Apple user. Is it easy to understand Windows 10? I'm considering swapping. Things are a little bit more complicated, and to find things in the system preferences. This is my experience so far, but to find your way around things like system preferences, Windows Defender for example is in so many different places, is a little bit more difficult. But of course you can just tap on that start menu and start typing what you're looking for, and it does guide you where to find it. It will come up as a suggestion, so you can find your way around pretty easy. And if you've done that for a couple of months, I'm sure you'll then learn where things are. So it's not too complicated, just a tiny bit more. The Angry Viking, what made you choose Alienware Dell over other custom vendors? I think primarily because I've had an Alienware before and the build quality is good. Other vendors, you're normally going to maybe a smaller company. There's not many big vendors nowadays, and I think I just trusted that the backup would be there for the long term, because when I invested in this, I'm looking at probably around about 3 to 5 years of use, of getting use out of this before it might need upgrading or replacing. So I wanted some company, or a company that I could trust would be there to give me that support. And with the smaller vendors, without doing a lot of research, I wasn't confident doing that. So that's why I chose Dell over other vendors. Paul Reese, do you have any security concerns with moving to Windows? A tiny bit. I would be lying about saying that I didn't have any concerns at all. I think a lot less nowadays than I did have. Windows 10 seems to be pretty secure. It's got built-in security, and I'm not using this for surfing the web. You know, I'm not going on any dubious websites. I'm not clicking on links on it. I'm purely using it as a professional editing machine. So my concerns are a lot less for this than if I was using it for general use. Then I would be a little bit more concerned. So let's have a look. There was one more question. Piath Al, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name very well. Piath Al Wate. What about the new Mac Pro? Why didn't you wait for it? It should come this year. I think the main reason I didn't wait for it is because we waited so long before. I was on one of the silver towers. I had a G5 before, and then the Intel based, I think it was a Core i5, and then we waited so long for them to bring out the Mac Pro, and it was fantastic. But after 6 months you started to see its limitations. I did in fact experience problems with the Mac Pro with the graphics cards, and they did swap it out, so very good customer service. But after waiting so long for the late 2013 Mac Pro, to then within a year at the most, probably 6 months to a year, I was disappointed with the performance. I was having to set up video renders and then leave it rendering for the rest of the day. That's very disappointing. And I've heard a lot of YouTube creators and content creators say the same, that their Mac Pro looks nice, the performance overall is pretty good, but when it comes to video processing, unless you really spec it up to the maximum that you can, it's not that fast. It is fast, but compared to something like this, it's not that fast. So I could have waited for the new Mac Pro to come out again, hopefully this year, but then would I be disappointed with the performance? And the price would be very high, of course, as well. But I will still watch. I will still see what Apple does. But because I've just bought this, I probably won't be getting one of the new Mac Pros, unless, of course, I win the lottery. So anyway, I'm now going to do this bonus review. Thank you very much for all of your questions. If my voice doesn't give up, I will take a few more questions at the end of this little bonus review. But let me just take a quick drink of water. So here we go. This is the bonus review. Now, I actually shared with you probably 2-3 weeks ago that over the Christmas period a couple of my keyboards actually stopped working, and I've been on this journey in the search for some fantastic replacement keyboards, and I've already shown you the Microsoft one behind me here. Actually, let me just pick that up. This Microsoft one is fantastic. This is the Microsoft Surface keyboard, and this is better than the Apple keyboards. This video is starting to sound a bit anti-Apple, I know, but the design is very similar to the Apple wired keyboard, but this is of course wireless. It does have a numeric keypad on it as well. The key travel and the sort of response you get from the keyboard is better than the Apple ones, and it is very, very good, so I'm really pleased with that. But I'm still in the search for another keyboard. I want a mechanical keyboard, something with even better feedback, and I was sent this by Cherry. This is the Cherry MX Board Silent. Now this is a mechanical keyboard, but it doesn't make as much noise as many mechanical keyboards do, and that's because it's got MX Red silent switches. Now yes, I just saw a comment there, it does look fat, it does look clunky, but it is nice. It's got a nice angle to it, and it's actually very, very good with regards to how fast I can type on this. The actual sort of travel on the keys is near on perfect. The spacing is brilliant. We've got traditional keys as well with the slight curves to them. We've of course got the full numeric keypad, arrow keys here, page up, page down, some LEDs. It connects via USB, so it's not wireless, which is one downside. And we've got this nice angle, but you can also flip the feet out underneath, and that gives you an even greater angle for typing. This is ideal for gaming as well. It's not what I actually got it in for, and it's not my intended use, but I have tested it for about 6 or 7 days now, and it's gonna almost make me switch away from the Microsoft keyboard, purely because I love the sort of key travel and response I get from this keyboard. Now a lot of you are making comments saying it looks like an old clunky sort of typewriter keyboard. This is a mechanical keyboard. We've all seen the likes of the Razer keyboards. I also did a video review on the SteelSeries Apex. I think it was the was it the M500 or M700? Both great keyboards. But this, for me, because it's a little bit quieter, and I do like the response I get from these keys and the amount of travel, I think this is a better choice for me. And it is very, very comfortable to use. It is really good. Now Cherry have been making keyboards for many, many years, so they know what they're doing. It might not look very stylish, but it's all about how you use it. So it's really very, very tactile indeed. So this is the Cherry MX Board Silent. Awesome keyboard. If you're in the market for one, then once this video's gone live on my channel after the end of this broadcast, I'll leave a link to this down in the video description. So that's it for the bonus review. I hope you enjoyed it. I can really recommend that keyboard actually, because as I say, I've tested quite a few over the years, and that has been one of the most comfortable I've experienced to actually use on a day-to-day basis. So anyway, let's take some more questions. So a few more questions. The Angry Viking, how much was it? This is a keyboard that's coming out on the market very, very soon. It's not readily available now. It's going to be around about $149, around about £119. Next question is, what are the PC specs? I've already actually run over the specs, so if you wait till this goes on the channel a little bit later, then you can actually see the specifications a little bit later on. Next question is from Alex Wingman. Could you stream off your Panasonic if you used an HDMI interface with your MacBook? Possibly. You might need an additional piece of hardware. Ragnarocking. I was late too, but from what I gather, he's switching from Mac to that sweet Alienware behind him. You got that right. And Sven Hebink asks, is this keyboard illuminated? Any backlighting? No backlighting on this one, just a very straightforward, very high quality. You're looking at the quality switches in this one, really high quality keyboard, but no backlighting. So anyway, I'm going to take one more question. Let's make it a good one. and then I'm going to end the stream. Life Tips UK. Can I connect that PC via Bluetooth? It has got Bluetooth in it. This Microsoft Surface keyboard is Bluetooth, it's wireless, and it connects to the Alienware behind me. So it has got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in as well. So anyway, that's it for this broadcast. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. I really am super happy with the Alienware Aurora R5. I'm super happy that you all tuned in as well. Thank you for all the great questions. If you've got any more questions at all, then you can always tweet me at Geekanoids, or indeed when this video goes live on the channel in about sort of 10 to 20 minutes, any additional questions, please do leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer as many as I can. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Please do subscribe because I publish a new tech video pretty much every single day. I'll see you again soon in another video on the Geekanoids channel.